This is January the 30th. Tomorrow, Friday, January the 31st, Britain leaves the common market. They basically have left, but they've just told their representatives, 70 odd, to pack up their things from their desks and leave. And so by tomorrow night, Britain will be officially out of the European common market. Somewhat significant. I have told you in the past that for you to know where the nations are on the earth today, where they have come from, and who they are today on the earth, you need to obtain this book. This book is In Search of the Origin of Nations. You can obtain it from Amazon, about 500 pages, and it will give you where the nations of the earth are today. And especially this book about the German race. It's about 300 pages. The German people, the great German nation. Again, you can obtain this from Amazon. Those will give you the keys of where the nations in the Bible, the name that they have in the Bible is not necessarily the name that they have today, but you can trace where all nations on the earth are and where they've come from those two books. And I will tell you quite frankly and right up front that the British Commonwealth is the Israelite tribe of Ephraim. The United States is the Israelite tribe of Manasseh. They are mentioned more in the Bible than any other people on the face of this earth, no matter what the Protestant prophets tell you, no matter what the fundamental prophets tell you that they're not mentioned, that the British Commonwealth, the United States is not mentioned in the Bible. That's all poo-poo. That's all ridiculous and garbage. They are mentioned more times in the Bible than any other people on this earth. They are Joseph. They are the tribe of Joseph of the 10 tribes of Israel. I've mentioned many times to you in videos. The house of Israel and the house of Judah came to be separate kingdoms after the death of Solomon. The house of Israel went into captivity by the Assyrians. And it was about 100 or so years later that the Babylonian Empire rose up, pushed the Assyrians and the house of Israel, pushed them north. And that Babylonian Empire took captive the house of Judah for 70 years. It's all in the Bible. But the house of Israel was pushed north with the Assyrians. They were pushed north up to the Black Sea area and then across Eastern Europe and across into Western Europe. You can find where they are today and who they are by those two books that I've just mentioned. So Britain has left the common market. Turn to Revelation chapter 18. And it is written, "After these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily, with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen. Twice. Significant, yes. Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of demons, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird." Well, this is talking spiritually about the demonic world. "For all nations," verse 3, "have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication," her spiritual fornication. "And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her," spiritual fornication with her. "And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." And then verse 4, "I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues." There is coming, my friends, at the end time, the last 42 months of this age, there is coming a great Babylon. It is going to be a seventh resurrection of the Holy Roman Empire in Europe. it is going to be another Babylon. That's why it's written here that Babylon is fallen, is fallen. The original Babylon fell, and the end time Babylon will fall. I took a course back in the middle 1960s on European history. We were to buy a textbook about yay thick on European history. It was not a religious book. It was a secular book on European history. I went through that book specifically looking for how many times the Holy Roman Empire had been resurrected during all of the last 2,000 years. That book showed you 6 times that the Holy Roman Empire in Europe had been resurrected. And there is yet one more time to come. Now, this is in connection with the beasts of Daniel and Revelation. The beasts of Daniel and Revelation are tied together. Now, I give you and expound to you in detail the truth about the beasts of Daniel and Revelation on my website, keithhunt.com, under prophecy section. And you'll find a study there called The Beasts of Daniel and Revelation. And it will show you in detail about the 6 resurrections that have taken place already. And there is one more to come at the end time. It's going to come in Europe, like all the others were resurrections in Europe of the Holy Roman Empire. And there will be one more yet to come in Europe. Britain has come out of her. Now, that verse there means individuals, that you are not to be part of her system. You are not to be part of her religion. Yes, and it will be a Christian religion. You are not to be part of her religion. You are not to be part of her and her spiritual fornication, her wrong teachings, her wrong ideas, her wrong theology. And also it means there in Revelation 18, to come out of her, my people, the nations of Israel should come out of her. Britain has come out of her. Britain will not receive her plagues. When her plagues do come upon her, which they will, as the book of Revelation expounds, well, those nations of Israel that come out of her will not receive specifically her plagues. Oh, yes, they will receive judgment and punishment and destruction because of their sins, as I mentioned over and over again on this YouTube and in many videos, but they will not receive specifically of her plagues that are mentioned in the book of Revelation if they come out of her. Will some of the other Israelite nations like France and Belgium and Holland and Denmark, will some of those nations come out of her yet? Maybe. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Britain, significantly, has come out of her. And, of course, well done on Britain to come out of her, to no longer be a part of her political and eventually religious society and her economic society. Britain has come out. Other nations of Israel need to come out of her as well. But you as an individual, especially you as an individual, need to come out of this Babylonian, European Holy Roman Empire as it continues to develop right up to the time of the last 42 months of this age, when it will be used by God to punish the nations of Israel. And it itself, this Babylon Roman Holy Empire, will also be punished in due course. But indeed, and as an individual, you need to make sure that you come out of her false religion. And you can find out all about her false religion on my website. And under salvation, under the Sabbath and festivals of God, you can find out with many other studies there her false religion that you as an individual should depart from if you're into it, and you should come out of. That is the warning and the teaching that God gives you in Revelation chapter 18.